Black Christmas.
Hello everybody, my name is Mr. Hat, and today we're looking at the classic Black Christmas, directed by Bob Clark in 1974, and it tells a story about a crazy guy named Billy who infiltrates a sorority house and kills these sorority girls one by one. Now, I just saw this movie for the first time twice. I watched it once and I was like, I'm not sure how I feel about it because this movie was very overhyped. So the first time I was watching it, I was mainly focusing on character and story, and I wanted to watch it again with a commentary to focus on the style, the direction, listen to Bob Clark talk about his movie. So I watched this movie twice now. So what do I have to say about this movie? I liked it. I didn't love it, but I liked it. This movie's more about style and tension building. That's what this movie's about, which is why I can see now why people really hate the remake. If you grew up loving this, why you would be like, this is way too different, I don't like it. And I understand that, but I think that remakes are supposed to go in their own direction, so that's why I don't shit on the remake too much. But yeah, I can understand where you're coming from. This movie was an inspiration, let's just be honest, to classics like Halloween. This movie opens with the POV shot of the killer infiltrating the house, getting up to the attic, and then we get that opening shot in Halloween. So you could say this movie was a great influence even on movies like My Bloody Valentine. Some people give this movie credit for being the first slasher movie to start the slasher craze because after this movie it was Texas Chainsaw Massacre the same year and then Halloween. And I hadn't seen this movie and I'm ashamed, but I never saw this on the shelves growing up. I never saw it. So I never had a chance. Now, before I go over all the things I like about it, let me get all the things that I did not like about it, which is just a few minor things. There's nothing majorly wrong with this movie. So let me just get that out of the way. I don't want anyone getting pissed off hitting the dislike button for no reason because I said that this movie wasn't a masterpiece. Sorry, I don't agree with you. The main protagonist of this movie is played by Olivia Hussey, and she's a British woman, and you can hear her British accent slipping through every now and then. That's not what I'm complaining about. What I'm complaining about is her performance. I don't it's not terrible. I just thought it could be better. I just didn't believe some of the performances I was getting. But yeah. And then I also felt like the tone wasn't consistent. They just kept interjecting comedy. They mainly kept the comedy of this movie in the police station, but this house mother, Miss Mac, I think they kept calling her Miss Smack, but I think her name was Miss Mac. They had this little ongoing gag where she would take shots of alcohol. She had liquor hiding everywhere, and it's why? Why are you hiding that? Everyone around you is drinking. Why are you ashamed of it? I don't know. I just thought that they overplayed that gag because they did 4 times where she find liquor in the book, liquor in the toilet, and she literally would wash her mouth like it was mouthwash with liquor. I just felt like they were overplaying it for a movie that seemed serious, and I don't know, it felt kind of off. But there were some jokes that landed. I loved the whole fellatio bit in the police station. We got the cliche bozo cop who doesn't know what fellatio is. He's the idiot, the imbecile. We kind of get that in a lot of horror movies. So we got some cliche characters in this movie. But yeah, overall, the characters were alright. Now, if you're a slasher fan and you love blood and guts, this isn't your movie. So it's very tame. Like I said, this is pre-slashers, Tom Savini, major gore, all that crap. So everything in this movie is left to your imagination, which is a positive, because sometimes that works better. But just let you know before you go into this movie, if you haven't seen it yet, and you're a slasher fan, you like to see lots of blood, you're not going to get that. So just a warning. Now, as much as I like the whole creepy phone call thing, I felt that the vulgarness, why? That's just another thing that felt weird. I'm like, yes, it's creepy, but now it's just perverted. So it's how about we just stay being creepy? Just keep being creepy, but don't be suck my juicy cock. That is a fucking phrase from this movie. And it said cunt 10 times. This movie has the cunt word in it more than any Rob Zombie movie. But like I said, these aren't major things, so don't think that I'm complaining oh my gosh, it's totally ruined. No. I'm just saying, these are the little things that I would just tweak a little from my experience. I would have just preferred the creepy phone calls with all the weird voices, because somehow Billy can do these ventriloquist acts where he can put 4 voices on at once and be this person, this person. But I'll accept that. But just don't be so goddamn perverted, alright? Jeez. I do find it kind of odd that there's just this big old hook system in the attic, and that nobody ever checks the attic throughout the whole movie. They're searching long and hard for Claire throughout the whole movie in the woods, but they never check the attic once. I find that unbelievable. All right, hopefully you're still here because I'm not shitting on this movie. All right, I'm allowed to say little cons about this movie, but let's go over all the positives about this movie. Now, I went into this movie with no, not high. I went into this movie with everybody for the past 9 months. I've been hearing about it on Killer Flicks. I'm in this Killer Flicks group, and everybody just loves this movie. If you ever ask anybody, like, what's your favorite slasher? This is in their top 10. What's your favorite Christmas horror movie? This is their number 1. So I got this. I'm like, okay, what's everyone talking about? But I knew that with that in mind, I was like, let's set the bar low. I don't want to disappoint myself. So I'm glad I did that. It's mainly just about style, like I said. Style, building tension, actually focusing on characters, not the killer, and keeping the killer a big question mark, which I like that. This movie basically does the opposite of Deadly Night, Silent Night. Silent Night, Deadly Night. Does the opposite. It doesn't focus on the killer, focuses on the characters. But let's go back to Olivia Hussey. Alright, so positive, negative, whatever you want to say. Let's just get it out of there. This movie takes the ballsy decision to have our main protagonist she's pregnant, having premarital sex. She has a crucifix necklace that she wears throughout the whole movie, so you think she's a saint, but premarital sex doesn't sit well with that crucifix. Just saying. Just saying. So, but she's pregnant and she wants to have an abortion, and this is setting her boyfriend Peter off the rails. Like, he's going nuts slowly. Like, he's crying, he's breaking the Christmas tree, and this movie is setting him up to be the killer, which is a slight thing that I would change too about this movie. Like, I would have him find out about the abortion thing before Claire died, just real quick. Have him find out, because that would actually make me believe for maybe just a few seconds or throughout the whole movie that he could have actually been a killer. But I didn't believe for 1 second that Peter was a killer. This movie was trying to like somehow make you think like maybe it's just a psychopath, or maybe it's Peter, or maybe it's both. But I felt like they failed on that front a little bit with the whole red herring Peter going nuts because of the abortion thing. You know, because he has this piano recital and he just found out about the abortion, so he's going nuts on that piano. And he sucks. He's just like blasting keys. And then, yeah, so we basically see him just building rage, and he's crying by trees and shit, looking at the house. But some could argue that maybe he is a killer, you know? Like, what if he killed the cop outside? You know, and that wasn't Billy, the cop sitting out front. What if he killed him? And because I find it kind of odd that he was still there by the end of the movie, kicking that window open because he was so determined to go in and check on his girlfriend. And when he sees his girlfriend, he just gives her this creepy ass smile. And then the shot ends and it's like they're screaming, and then she's passed out and he's dead. Did she kill him, or did Billy go down there and attack them both, kill the guy, and knock her out? This movie just leaves a lot of things open to interpretation. Like, you just make up your own thing. Like, maybe this happened. I don't know. I have some theories. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm full of shit. But I like to think that maybe, just maybe, Peter killed that cop. Because why was he there? Not to mention, he did say that she was going to pay for having an abortion. They try to make him like this dick. You know, this movie is like very progressive. You know, it has the whole abortion angle, like I said. This movie came out like a year after Roe v. Wade. And we just got this dick boyfriend. Well, I mean, they're trying to make him look like a dick. He's like, I'm quitting this thing. We're going to get together. We're going to get married. And you're going to have that baby. And then she's just all like, no, I'm going to abort the baby. And I'm going to pursue my dreams. I don't know where I'm going with this. I'm just letting you know what's in the movie. But I just thought that whole aspect was interesting. They were trying to make like this red herring. Did it work? Not really. Because I just kind of figured it was Billy the whole time. Now let's talk about the phone calls. The phone calls, like I was talking about earlier, besides the perversion stuff, the first phone call, Billy calls every time he kills somebody. Every time he kills somebody, he makes another phone call, adds a new voice, adds some weird words. He keeps saying Billy, Agnes. And that's where Agnes came from in the remake. They took the word Agnes from this movie and said, oh, let's expand on that. And holy shit, did they fuck up on that. Stupid. But yeah, the phone calls are the creepiest part of this whole movie. Just all those voices and the creepy things being said. I do find it kind of weird that, you know, he's screaming and going these tirades on the telephone. How did they not hear him upstairs just yelling? Like, I would hear that. They end up tracing this phone and going like, oh, the call's coming from inside the house, which the audience already knows that, but it is fun to see the main protagonist finally learn about it, and they get all... And instead of, like, taking the easy way out, just going out the door, she decides to be a hero and stay and try to save her friends who she doesn't know are dead yet. Some people might say she was stupid for not just leaving it right away, but no, she was trying to be a hero, so I like that. They don't make her a total shithead, you know, because I'm not sure where you stand politically. Like, if you're anti-abortion, you might hate her character throughout the whole movie, but you gotta admit, when she decides to go try to look for her friends at least, you gotta be like, alright, I might have hated you before because of my beliefs, but I agree with you for trying to save your friends. But if you're pro-abortion, you love her the whole movie, I guess. John Saxon is in this movie. That's another positive. It's nice to see. Like, he didn't age that much. Like, this movie came out a whole decade before Nightmare, and he looks exactly the same to me. In Nightmare, he's a cop, and in this movie, he's a cop. Plays the same character, and he's like the best performance in this movie. I liked his character. Just the way he handled himself and just the things he was doing. Like, there's even a moment where, like, he was written to be like an actual detective. Like, he was doing some detective-like shit. When he's questioning, what's her face? Jess, and he's like, he asks her a question, but it was a question that was supposed to trip her up. Like, if she was lying to him, he would have caught her, like, oh, so you said you saw her this morning. She's like, no, I saw her last night. Just one of those questions that detectives do. They, like, catch you off guard. They ask you a question real quick to see if you answer wrong. I liked how they wrote that in there. He felt like a real detective. In this movie, surprisingly, it has no nudity. Like, this is before the big slasher craze where nudity was like a staple. This movie doesn't rely on nudity. That's another thing I like about this movie. This movie just feels authentic and real. Like, the characters, they don't feel like they're written by men. Like, we got this whole group of women, and they don't feel like they're just written by men saying stupid shit, like talking horny. There's only one character in this movie who talks about turtle fucking. That's a very popular scene. This drunk girl who fed like alcohol to this kid at one point. She's played by Margot Kidder. She is talking about how turtles fuck for like 3 days straight, which is bullshit. Look it up. It's not true. But these characters, they have more depth to them than the characters in the remake, where you just didn't give a shit about any of them. These characters feel a little bit, they have a little bit more to them. This movie has a cat in it. I like cats. This cat was a genuine cat. It was licking plastic. I thought that was funny. Like, that's dark humor right there. That's like something that's not supposed to be funny, but it is. Because if you have a cat, you know what they do. They always lick plastic for some fucking reason. It's a complete mystery. But you got the dead body upstairs with the plastic bag over her face, which is like the front cover of this movie. And the cat's licking her face with the plastic. I thought that was just funny. Alright, let's play a little drinking game. When you watch this movie, play a drinking game and drink every time you hear the word Claude. The name of the cat, whatever it is. I think it's Claude. I wrote it down. Yeah, it's Claude. Oh my god. Put that in my negatives again. I heard it so much in this movie, it pissed me off. Like, this woman, the house mother, she's yelling Claude 50,000 times. And it's like, the cat can't respond. It can't. I don't know how it got in the attic, but it can't respond. Do you expect the cat to go, yes, house mother, I'll be right down. Shut the fuck up. Now let's talk about Billy. Billy, if that's his name. He does say, quote unquote, it's me, Billy, at some point. But he could just be fucking crazy. And this guy is crazy. They established that. I didn't think he was going to have a voice in this movie because he didn't speak in the remake. But he talks in this movie. When I say he didn't speak in the remake, I mean we didn't hear his actual voice. In this movie, you hear his voice. He's going nuts. He's throwing shit. He's having a temper tantrum in the attic when everyone's gone. Maybe he's upset because now there's no more victims left. I don't know. But he's just fucking crazy. But I just like how they keep this guy in the dark. They keep him a mystery like Michael Myers in Halloween. We don't see his face. We just see his eyeball twice in this movie. Both iconic shots on the front covers. On some covers of this movie. And I like how this movie just leaves some things to interpretation and your imagination. Because apparently Billy, he killed this teenage girl in the park on his way to the sorority house. So there's like this search party going on. And they see this body, but we never look at it. We don't see it. We just see people's reactions to things. All these close-up shots just trying to like show you like the horror on their face of what they're looking at. And we're like, I don't know what they're looking at exactly. I know it's a dead girl, but we get to just imagine what they're looking at. My favorite scene is the most terrifying scene actually to me is when she sees his eye through the door. From that moment on for the next 5 minutes, it's crazy awesome. It's terrifying. And put yourself in that situation. You hear this maniac, he's screaming his ass off. He's running down the stairs, he grabs at you. He's banging on the door, screaming like a madman. That's probably the best. That's my favorite scene in the whole movie, right there. I loved it. The tension, just the whole. She's locked inside the house. The door won't open for some reason. She had to lock it from outside. I don't know why, but. And then she goes to the cellar. But yeah, that was the best scene in the movie. The end of this movie is also creepy because now it's leaving more up to interpretation. Is Olivia Hussey's character going to live? Because she's knocked out for at least 4 hours after killing Peter. And we hear the phone ring and all the cops are leaving because they think that the killer's dead, but he's not. obviously. The phone's ringing and the bodies are still in the attic because they haven't checked the attic yet. I don't know why they didn't. So it's an evil lives on ending, but I don't mind this one as much. There's a lot I could say about this movie, but yeah, overall, I enjoyed it. Directing style, the atmosphere, the score. The score's decent in this movie. It's like a piano and the low keys, and a lot of this movie doesn't even have a score. It just lets the scene go, and there's not much noise. It's like wind. Not too much going on. It's not crazy of a score. But yeah, overall, this movie, it's not fun. It's just supposed to be a thriller. This movie's more of a thriller. I mean, it has the slasher aspect of it, but this movie's more based on just creating tension. So yeah, I can see why people love this movie, because it's more simplistic when it comes to the kills. It's not supposed to be bloody or disgusting. It's more realistic, and that's what makes it more terrifying. So therefore, I gotta say, when it comes to Black Christmas, that this is a classic that's definitely worth going out and buying. The Mr. Hat Award's gonna go to the house mother named Miss Mac or something. She gets the hook right through the jaw, and it just grabs her right up into the attic, and she hangs there, probably wishing for another bottle of booze right now to heal the pain, but she's dead. And the Mr. Twig Award will go to Phil, the actress who's actually in the remake. I didn't notice that. I think she's the woman who gets the icicle in her eye, but she dies off camera and we don't know what happens to her. We see blood on her face later on, but we don't really know what happened. And those are my thoughts on this classic. What did you think about this movie? Is it really terrifying to you, or do you find it to be a boring slasher and you don't care about the story and the characters? You just want to see blood? Let me know in the comments below, and as always, you can support this video by clicking this like button over here, and you can support this channel by clicking on my cartoon face in 5 seconds to see more. And until next time, Auf Wiedersehen. Yeah.